Do you think we'll need extra security for Chimaev versus Strickland? Absolutely. I got to be honest. I don't know if I trust those two enough to put them together before the fight, because I think they might start fighting. They seem to hate each other, and those are the things that fights are built on. Sean don't necessarily like anybody, but Khamzat just wants to smash people, beat them up, take them down, overwhelm them to the point that they can't do anything. We're going to need some extra security for this fight.
I'll tell you the fight that I'm really looking forward to, because I don't know what's going to happen, is Khamzat versus Strickland. I'm very interested in that fight. Strickland is a fucking nightmare standing up.
For sure.
He's a nightmare.
For sure.
What he did to Fluffy Hernandez, I was like, holy shit, man.
The body shot, the finish, but he made Fluffy fight. You know, he fights at a slower pace. He has his own pace in there, and he kind of forces the other guy to fight. His opponent has to fight this pace with him. I think the best chance is to blitz him, do unorthodox things, because he wants to jab, circle, throw a kick, jab, circle. He keeps a very slow pace. He's not sprinting or trying to blast you out of there. He just chips away, high guard, good shell.
Yeah, very good shell. His defense is extraordinary. Man, that motherfucker doesn't get tired in there.
Right.
And the Fluffy fight was like, I thought Fluffy was going to be a problem. I'm like, Fluffy's really good, man. You think he submitted Adolfo Vieira. He's got all this fucking crazy cardio. He puts a pace on guys, and Strickland made it look like he just did not belong in there.
I just can't imagine Strickland being a boring fight. And I guess I could, because Khamzat could be that dominant, could put him on his back, and Strickland not really wrestle up because he don't want to get in the front headlock, he doesn't want to give his back, just kind of lays on his. I don't know, but it's definitely possible this is going to be a similar fight to DDP. But I feel like Sean's going to make it fun.
And against Chimaev, we've seen him when he has faced adversity, and while he has been able to pass those tests, it still does seem to fatigue him and confuse him when he is in those situations, because he's so used to being the hammer and not the nail. Again, I think that from a matchup standpoint, it's going to be really interesting to see, really, like I said, the first couple of minutes of this fight, to see if Chimaev is able to implement his game plan, because if not, I think it's going to be a really interesting fight, and a fight that Sean Strickland can win, despite the long odds.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility Khamzat just goes out there, takes him down, and dominates him, right? So we're going to see where he's at. But the other thing with Sean Strickland is he's a pretty big dude. We know Khamzat sort of, with cardio-wise, even with DDP towards the end, he was pretty tired. And Sean Strickland's cardio is through the roof, right? Like, he's go. And he's going to, if you're standing with him, he's going to take up that octagon. He's going to push you back. He's so tiring to fight against when it comes to everybody in the division, right? It's just hard to fight him. So if it's really going to test Khamzat's cardio, if it's standing for a couple of rounds even, to see where he's at. I feel like it's going to answer a few questions for us if Sean can stop these takes.
As far as how I think the fight plays out, I do think Chimaev wins. I think Strickland, I mean, he had lightning in a bottle against Israel Adesanya. You know, he's capable of pulling off an upset. We've seen that before. I just think Chimaev is, I don't know if anyone beats Chimaev right now. And that includes Imavov. I don't think Imavov was going to beat Chimaev either. I think Chimaev is just going to continue to get those takedowns, going to continue to put pressure on. I wonder, though, can he finish Strickland? I'm not sure. He wasn't able to finish DDP. And again, I thought DDP and Strickland were kind of neck and neck when you saw those matchups. I know every fight's different as far as the styles go, but I think Chimaev might end up winning a decision here. I don't think it's going to be a quick finish. I know he's threatened Strickland and saying, you know, like, it's going to be a quick win and all that stuff. You know,
I don't think that's going to happen here. And let me tell you why this matters so much right now. The UFC has finally made one of the most talked about fights in the middleweight division official. And when I say talked about, I mean this has been brewing for a while now. Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev are set to face each other, and it is already getting a massive amount of attention from fans, analysts, and fighters alike. This matchup has history between these two guys. There's real tension there. And on top of that, you've got this clear clash of styles between striking and grappling that makes it absolutely fascinating from a technical standpoint. Because of that combination of personal drama and stylistic contrast, many analysts have started giving their predictions, breaking down every possible angle of how this could play out. Here is a detailed look at what the combat sports world is predicting about how this fight could actually unfold when these two finally step into the octagon together.
Marvov, I know Marvov beat Kyle Bohaya, but when you look at it, Strickland's already beat Marvov. Yeah, it was a while ago, but a win's a win. And he just put a beat down and a stoppage on Fluffy, right? Imavov beat Kyle Bahia, by decision. And we all know this sport's about what have you done for me lately. There is a backstory between Chimaev and Sean Strickland. They have trained with one another. There's a bit of shit talk. There's going to be bad blood. We know that the lead up to the fight will be goddamn insane, right? Chimaev doesn't hold back. He talks shit, but in a kind of reserved way, but like he truly believes in himself. And Sean Strickland is just going to go on the full offensive. We know that. We know that. He's going to be talking some crazy shit. Dana even joked about it on the little show that we did there. He said they're going to need extra security for that fight, during the fight week, leading up to the fight, after the fight, in the fight. It's going to be a mad one because Sean Strickland doesn't hold back. And you know what? Even if you don't like the shit that he says, you have to appreciate the entertainment value that he brings to the table. And then on top of that, the performances inside the octagon. That one against Fluffy, that was a different Sean.
Sean O'Malley broke it down more like a long fight problem, and this is where his analysis gets really interesting. He talked about how Khamzat can take people down early and control them with that suffocating top pressure. But doing that again and again, round after round, is where things get tricky. And that's where the cardio question comes into play. If Strickland keeps getting back up, if he's relentless about standing up every single time, that starts draining Khamzat fast because those takedowns require massive energy. He even played out a possible fight scenario without fully committing to a prediction, which shows how balanced this matchup really is. He imagined the early rounds going Khamzat's way with control and damage on the ground, but then Strickland slowly taking over once the pace slows and the takedowns become harder to land. He's not saying it will definitely happen like that, but that's a realistic path if Strickland wins. It all depends on whether Khamzat can maintain that dominance for 5 rounds, which is still a big question.
In that aspect, Sean Strickland has great cardio. He's going to show up ready to go. The question is, can Khamzat keep the pace of... He kept the pace against DDP, but he was able to take him down early and literally hold him down the whole time. That is fatiguing. He was able to do that. But what's more fatiguing is taking someone down, they get up. Taking someone down, they get up. You took him out 3-4 times in a round. That's going to start to wear on Khamzat. If Sean can get up, and that's going to be the question mark there. I feel like Khamzat's going to be able to get a hold of him. He's going to be able to take him down. But is he going to be able to do that over and over and over? Is he going to be able to finish him? I don't know. I think, what would be absolutely epic if Khamzat took him down first round, second round, beat his ass a little bit, and then Sean Strickland kind of started stuffing the shots in the third, and then started piecing him up in the fourth, and Strickland got it done. It would be fucking sweet. But we just saw Charles versus Max. Charles dominated. I mean, it's weird when you think of Charles, you don't think of like super great wrestler. A lot of his takedowns kind of come from body locks and trips from the body lock, which is
Another thing he pointed out that's worth considering is that this fight might be a classic case of a top wrestler overpowering an opponent who hasn't dealt with this level of grappling before. Sometimes you have a fighter who is very sharp on the feet, technical and dangerous in striking, but then they run into a specialist in wrestling and grappling, and everything changes. There's a very real possibility for Khamzat to take him down repeatedly and control the fight on the ground, even if it's not the most exciting style for casual fans who prefer striking battles. That's why he couldn't confidently pick a winner. Both outcomes are realistic. It all comes down to how the wrestling exchanges play out, how strong Strickland's takedown defense really is, and whether Khamzat can keep that pressure going for the full 25 minutes.
Great wrestling, but Max had never really fought like a super high-level wrestler. Are we going to see the same kind of thing play out where Khamzat takes him down and it's kind of the same fucking thing? I don't know. Super excited for that fight. Final prediction. Don't have one because I just don't have one yet.
Chael Sonnen brought up something that doesn't get talked about enough, and it's actually very important. He explained how Strickland looks when he's training in the gym behind closed doors. He doesn't have that intimidating physique at first glance, but when you actually grapple with him, he's extremely difficult to take down and even harder to keep down. So this isn't as simple as striker versus wrestler like many people think. He also questioned the idea that Strickland is clearly better on the feet. That's something a lot of people assume, but we haven't really seen Khamzat tested in a long striking battle against someone like Strickland. Because of that, there's a chance people are underestimating Khamzat's stand-up skills since he hasn't been forced to use them over extended rounds.